The time has come to fight the big oil battle in Venezuela. Well, I welcome it so we can prove ourselves yet again and we will defend our country. We will defend our revolution, we will defend our oil production, and we will defend our lives.
I speak now to Paul Dobson. He's an independent journalist in Venezuela and joins us now live from Mérida. Great to have you on the programme. Tell us, Paul, how is Hugo Chavez's legacy felt and seen 20 years on?
Yes, well, the commemoration of the 2002 coup d'etat has reopened the debate about the level of continuity or not between the current administration and the Chavez era. Obviously, the context is very different today. We have undergone the blockade or undergoing the US blockade against the country. There has been an emigratory exodus out of the country. Oil prices have dipped considerably and a whole range of other factors which have to be taken into account. But the debate is going on both at the government level, but also in the grassroots here in Venezuela. The popular movements, the communities, the backers of the government are once again looking at the current administration, reassessing, we could say, whether they consider the level of continuity with the proposed policies from the Chavez era to be implemented today. And unfortunately, my evaluation would be that there are a number of factors which the government have really rolled back from the Chavez period. We're looking at increasing privatization in the oil sector. We're looking at the dollarization of the economy. And we're looking at concessions to the opposition and to large multinational capital, which were certainly not in line with Chavez's policies in 2002.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, right now, of course, there is the war with Ukraine, and there was talk of the US, you know, like warming their relations with Venezuela, possibly even easing sanctions. Could that happen since there is such a need for crude oil right now? And of course, Venezuela has the biggest reserves in the world.
Well, there was a lot of hype when the Ukrainian war kicked off. To date, we're yet to see anything concrete with regards to the talks which were held between the Washington officials which visited Caracas, itself a significant move. But again, the concrete results of these talks are yet unclear. And as time passes and the dynamics in Eastern Europe change, then obviously the impact on the Venezuelan blockade will, of course, be modified correspondingly. The Venezuelan oil economy is starting to pick up very slightly. We are starting to see positive signs in the Venezuelan economy despite the continuation of the blockade. The Swiss, for example, is expecting a 20% GDP growth next year in Venezuela, which is very, very large.
I've seen that. And will that bring people back, Paul? Will that bring, you know, the exodus of Venezuelans that we saw on our screens a few years ago? Could that bring people back if the economy does indeed rebound?
I think it will help. It's a very important factor, but it has to be accompanied with an increase in wages and in consumer power, which was the main reason that most of these Venezuelans left. When you add in factors like a drop in government spending into public infrastructure, so telecommunications, internet availability, transport, health, and everything else, if the government is able to reverse these drops in spendings, then I certainly think there will be a number of Venezuelans attracted back to their country to come and live with their families.
Indeed. Paul Dobson, live there from Mérida in Venezuela. Thank you so much.